Welcome to Quesnel River Pulp. While working at QRP, we ask you to adopt our health and safety policy, which states, each employee has the right to a safe job, a duty to work safely, and a duty to promote the safety of others. Our basic principles are, we comply with health and safety legislation, we set objectives to continuously improve our health and safety record, we provide the resources and training to meet our objectives, and all people at QRP are key to achieving our objectives. QRP stresses safety as our #1 priority. Our pulp process, although clean and efficient, still poses many potential dangers. To help reduce and eliminate these dangers, there are some basic requirements we ask of you. 1. We must know when you're on the premises. All contractors must notify their QRP contact when he or his employees are on site. If the QRP contact cannot be reached, you must notify the shift supervisor by contacting the control room. 2. Prior to starting any new job, the contractor's site supervisor and QRP contact will complete a written job hazard assessment that will A. define the scope of work, B. identify all the hazards, C. point out the precautions to be taken, D. list the evacuation routes, E. give the location of eye wash shower stations and fire extinguishers, F. identify the means to summon assistance. 3. The first step to working safely starts in your own work area. Keep it clean and organized as the work progresses, and leave it in a clean, tidy state when complete. Any used oil or materials used to clean up oil or grease must be disposed of in marked containers located adjacent to the lube mechanics area in our new mechanical trade shop. Contractors are responsible for removing leftover chemical agents before they leave. 4. QRP does not tolerate any horseplay, fighting, or impairment due to alcohol or drugs while working on site. 5. Any vehicles driven and equipment used for the purpose of your work must be operated in a safe, competent manner, and only if you're qualified to do so. Any questions should be directed to your QRP contact. 6. All electrical work must be coordinated through QRP's electrical department and completed by a qualified tradesperson only. 7. Walkways are painted with white lines on the floor of the mill and outside on the roadways. These delineated walkways are to keep pedestrian and mobile equipment interactions to a minimum. 8. Subcontractors or new employees cannot be brought on site without first notifying the QRP contact for permission and orientation. 9. Know the area and hazards where you are working. Be prepared and equipped to handle any mishap. Getting assistance. At QRP, emergency assistance can be accessed several ways. 1. Call local 222 from any site phone. 2. Call 250-992-4622 on a cell phone. 3. Have an operator radio for assistance. Or 4. Press the panic button at an eye wash station. Pressing the panic button rings an alarm in the control room showing your location. For a non-emergency situation, try to locate your QRP contact first. If your contact is unavailable, call the control room at local 223 or 253. They will either find the contact person or find someone else to address your concern. First aid. Each crew has at least one fully trained first aid attendant on duty. If you need their assistance, call 222. Tell them you need first aid and give your location. All accidents and near misses should be reported to your QRP contact as soon as you are able. All lost time accidents, serious near misses, and first aid cases are investigated to determine the cause and make recommendations to help prevent any future mishaps. Alarms. The mill caution alarm warns everyone of a hazardous condition that requires immediate evacuation. All employees, contractors, and visitors must report to the nearest muster station. These are located at the administration boardroom, the electrical instrumentation shop, the new mechanical shop, the warehouse office, and the effluent office. You will be given a tour to show you where these are located. All contractors are to account for their workers and report to the QRP employee in charge of the muster station. The designated QRP employee will call the control room and report the number of people at their station and any missing persons. During a mill caution alarm, flashing red lights come on at all entries to the mill block. Do not enter the mill block. Stay outside and make your way to the nearest muster station. The most direct are the new mechanical shop and the effluent office. Smoking policy. To help cut down on the chances of a fire, smoking is not permitted within the fenced area of the effluent treatment plant, anywhere near where chips are stored or handled, on any building roofs. Smoking is permitted out of doors on the remainder of the mill grounds. Hazard alert procedure. 1. Anyone can place signage to restrict access to an area on a temporary basis. 2. Red, do not enter, and yellow caution tape must have a yellow information tag indicating the hazard, the date, and who applied it. 3. Caution tape should be used when the hazard is less serious. Those entering are aware of the hazard. 4. Do not enter tape should be used when the hazard is immediate. Only those who have taken appropriate precautions can enter the area to address the hazard. 5. Restricted areas are noted on the hazard alert board in the control room, including date and name of initiator. 6. Signage restricting an area can be removed by the person who applied it or by a supervisor, provided the hazard has been addressed. Required personal protective equipment, or PPE. CSA-approved safety footwear. CSA standard safety glasses are required everywhere. Monogoggles, face shields, welding helmet, burning goggles may be required for your work. It is your responsibility to know what eye protection is needed. Hearing protection is mandatory when working in the main mill block, finishing lines, and, if required, by your particular work. High visibility apparel must be worn in the pulp storage warehouse area and in all areas outside the mill block, except when arriving and leaving from work. Equipment operators are not required to wear high visibility apparel when inside their equipment. Anytime you work in chemical preparation, you must carry monogoggles and an escape respirator. Extra protective equipment will be worn in addition to these items as required for safe completion of work. WHMIS. It's expected that all contractor employees are familiar with the requirements of WHMIS, Workplace Hazardous Material Information System. If you are not, please notify your QRP contact. All hazardous materials entering the mill site must have an MSDS, Material Safety Data Sheet, and display a workplace label. Read the label and the MSDS before handling any new material. Any dangerous goods arriving without labels or MSDS will be held in mill stores until they're obtained. Chemicals used at QRP. Your QRP contact will provide you with a mill safety booklet. This booklet lists the characteristics and protection requirements for the most common chemicals used or generated in our pulping and effluent treatment processes. Alkaline liquors and acids are used in the process. These can burn your skin or cause permanent loss of vision. Always wear the proper protective equipment. Hazardous gases. QRP uses chemicals that can produce gases that could represent a hazard to you. Sulfur dioxide, or SO2, is used in our chem prep area. SO2 gas has a pungent, biting odor. If it comes in contact with your eyes or body, flush immediately with lots of water. SO2 monitors are mounted in the chem prep area. When these monitors detect high SO2 concentrations, caution lights and wall exhaust fans are activated, and an alarm is sounded in our control room. Hydrogen sulfide, or H2S, is a hazardous gas. It smells like rotten eggs at lower levels and will cause eye, throat irritation, nausea, dizziness, loss of smell, and death at higher concentrations. H2S is heavier than air, so it tends to accumulate in low-lying areas, such as pits, confined spaces, or trapped in piping. H2S is not only fatal in high concentrations, it's also explosive. Environmental, chemical, and process spills. If you encounter a spill or condition that might pose a hazard, advise your fellow workers to clear the area. Then contact the shift supervisor via the control room at 222. If you or a fellow employee has come in contact with a chemical, proceed immediately to the nearest emergency eye wash and body shower station. If your eyes are contaminated, press the eye wash lever, hold your eyelids open, and flush in the flowing water. If your clothing is contaminated, stand under the shower and saturate contaminated clothing before removing. In either case, push the alarm button at the station to summon first aid. Continue to flush eyes and/or shower until help arrives. Know where the closest emergency eye wash shower is to your workstation and how to use it.
You will be expected to understand and follow the stop and think protocol. 1. Do I clearly understand my task? 2. What are the hazards associated with this task? 3. What could change that could create additional hazards? 4. What could go wrong and how bad is it likely to be? 5. Do I need to take any additional precautions to protect myself or others? 6. If others are involved in the completion of this task, have they arrived at the same conclusions as me? 7. Do I have all the personal protective equipment I need? 8. Are tools and equipment suitable and in good working condition? 9. Do I know where the nearest emergency equipment is located? You must use a task hazard assessment worksheet if any of the following are present. 1. The task seems complex or risky. 2. It has been more than 120 days since you completed a similar task, or you have performed this particular task less than 6 times. 3. The task is a known high-risk task.